Good morning, Stampers. Welcome to Connect to Create. If you haven't been to Connect to Create before, it is a joint venture between myself, Kat Fairless from Fairless Stamp and Flair, and Kathy Ondas from Simply Cards by Kathy. And our goal is to bring you a video each week to teach you maybe a new technique. We won't necessarily show or make a complete card, but our goal is to show you how to do a new technique. It may be something you've done before and just need a reminder, or it may be totally new. So before I get started, I just do want to let you know that Kathy is feeling better, and we're pretty sure she will be back with you next week. So very happy that she's feeling better, and God's been good. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I should tell you what I'm going to do today, right? I'm going to do a technique called paper piecing. Paper piecing. Easy for me to say, not so much. But it's a way to jazz up an image that otherwise you would probably color with your Stampin' Blends or your markers. And this is a way to give some pattern to it and just jazz it up a bit. So let's go ahead and I'll show you the card and the technique that I'm going to make today. Okay, this is the stamp set I'm going to use. It's called In the Moment, and you can see that it's perfect for coloring images. But in the case of what I'm going to do today with paper piercing, I'm not going to color the image. I will color portions of it, but we're going to give her clothes and her pillows. I'm going to use this one here, and we're going to give them some paper piecing to give them a little bit more color. So the first thing we do with this technique is stamp the image. So I have my Stamparatus already set up here with this lined up, and I'm just going to stamp my image on basic white cardstock with black memento ink. So I will ink this up. Actually, I'm going to stick this under here to give it a little support. The stamp case is just the right thickness. Ink pads also work if you prefer. And I'll get this inked up good. And we'll go ahead and see how she turns out. Hopefully she will turn out good. I think she's good enough. She may not be perfect, but she's good enough. And I'm going to keep this, and you can see I've stamped the image on here, and I'll show you why in a bit. I'm going to keep my Stamparatus handy. And the first thing with this technique is to color the parts of the image that you're not going to paper piece. I keep wanting to say paper pierce, but it's paper piece. So I've got some blends here. I'm going to use Fresh Freesia for her little barrette in the back of her head. I'm going to give her a Granny Apple Green coffee cup, and I'm going to do some window trim and a shelf in gray granite, and then we'll give her some brown here. But let's do the easy pieces first. So first I should put on my glasses. That would be a really good idea. Okay. So we're just gonna, and the way I'm using Stampin' Blends today, you could use markers, you could use watercolor pencils, you could use whatever your preferred medium is for coloring. Doesn't really matter. I just happen to kind of like blends. Okay. Just a touch of shading. I like how they put lines and things, Stampin' Up! Does, so I kind of know where the darker parts are supposed to be. And then we will, her barrette's too small and tiny to shade, so I'm just going to make it a little Fresh Freesia there. And then we'll color starting with the light gray granite. I'm going to color the window panes here. I'd be curious to know what your favorite color medium is. Do you like blends or alcohol markers? Do you prefer the Stampin' Write markers, which are water-based, or watercolor pencils? Do you have a preference? Ever since Stampin' Up! Came out with these Stampin' Blends, I've been hooked on these for some reason. They don't get so streaky, and it is nice to be able to blend colors a little bit. And even if you don't want to use two different colors, you can always just go over it a second time to darken it up a little bit with the same color. But I'm just going to fill in her window seat here. This is with blends. I use the light color first, as I mentioned. Then I go back and add some shading or where I want my dark areas to be. So now I'm bringing in the dark gray granite just to add, I think like on the edge of the seat here, I'll make it a little dark just to kind of outline it. I'm going to leave I don't know what those are called. Are those called minions or something? Those things between the pieces of panes of glass. I'm going to leave those light so I don't, but probably a little bit of shading under where she's sitting and maybe behind her if the sun's coming in from this way, that would be a little darker. So I'll give that a little shading. Same thing under her feet, maybe just a bit. Don't have to be real fussy with this. Then I come back with my light color. Oh, I got it mixed up. That was dark. So we'll try this again. Here's the dark. I was wondering why it really wasn't showing very much. Okay. Easy to grab the wrong one, isn't it? Okay. I'm kind of trying to hurry. Usually I'm a slow colorer. I'm kind of trying to hurry here a little bit because it's not really, the point of today's video is not to teach you about coloring with blends. It's about teaching you paper piecing. So, okay, the last things I want to do her hair and I want to do her skin. I'm going to use some neutral tones. I've got an SU 900 and an SU 1000 that I'm going to do her skin tones with. They're both very similar. In color, one is more tan, I would call probably a warmer tone, and the other one is a little more pinky or maybe a cool tone. So I just kind of mix them up a little bit. I don't know about your skin, but my skin is certainly not all the same color. Especially these days as all these new spots start appearing. Okay, that's probably too much information to share, right? This leg here is kind of a little behind the other one, so I'm just going to add a little on that one. Same way with the arm that's behind it. And this color, like I said, really isn't darker. This is the SU 1000, but it's a little pinkier, so it seems like it makes a little bit more of a shadow. Got her little spot in the back there. Now, I wouldn't want that showing on me because that'd be a big roll hanging over there. Okay, what do I need? Her hair. And I'm using another of the neutral tones. This is an SU 300. I don't think they're called neutral. I think they're natural tones is actually what they are. I spoke. It's kind of a medium brown here.
we'll just, and I'm not real particular about making sure every little spot is colored. I think sometimes if we leave a little white here and there, it actually adds a little more like depth or dimension, maybe is a better word to it. It's not really highlights, it's just gives it a little bit of a little more dimensional look, and we know here is dimension. So okay, so that completes all my coloring. Now we're going to start our paper piecing process. Maybe by the time I get this video done, I'll be able to say paper piecing. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to bring my Stamparatus back in, and I'm going to color the pillows with this little Fresh Freesia Daisy paper. I'm going to give her some Coastal Cabana pants, and I am going to give her a polka dotted top. So let's start with the pillows. I can see, the reason I stamped this here is because that way I can kind of lay my paper. If I want the big daisy there, for example, this daisy in the center, I can kind of try to place it there. It won't be perfect because obviously I can't see through the paper, but close enough. My dad used to have a saying, close enough for government work. I wasn't sure what that meant. But I think it just meant it was close enough. It didn't have to be perfect. Okay, I gotta move this little guy a little bit more. All right, how's my pillow? Oh, look at that. I got that big daisy right there in the middle of the pillow. You see that? Did it show? Sometimes things are hard to see. But the big daisy came in the middle of the pillow. I like that. That turned out good. Okay, next I'm going to do the pants. Doesn't really matter here where I place it. This is a very generic pattern. Oh, by the way, this designer series paper is called, what is the name? I wrote it down somewhere. Dandy Designs, DSP. And it is in the new mini. I believe it's a Hostess. No, I'm not sure it's a Hostess thing, but it's Dandy Designs. And it's either a celebration item or in the mini. I can't remember. That probably doesn't help you much, but the name of it is Dandy Designs. And you'll be able to get it the 1st of January. Unless, of course, you're a demo, then you can pre-order. But everyone will be able to get it January 5th, I think is the date. All right, let's see how her pants look now. Hey, you know what? I'm going to give her a little more ink on those pants. This is what's so nice about the Stamparatus. If it doesn't come out dark enough the first time, you can, for the most part, you can always go back and do it again. Okay, that's good. All right, now with the blouse, I want to try to capture some of these Fresh Freesia polka dots, and that's a little bit difficult. But we're going to do our best to try to get at least 2 of them in there. So this one, I'm going to try to get it lined up right about there, her lower back, and then we'll hope the other one comes out in her arms or something. This is when it would be handy if the designer paper was see-through, but then it wouldn't be pretty. So whatever it is, it will work. One way or the other, she'll have some blue and some green and some Fresh Freesia. Keep our fingers crossed. All right, do I dare lift it up? I do have more paper over here, but not many purple dots. Oh, look at that. Right there in the middle of her back. That's good. I'm happy with that. She's got funny looking at all those polka dots, isn't she? So, okay, we have now completed all of our stamping for our paper piecing. Oh my goodness. I don't think I'm gonna get there by the end of the video to be able to say that correctly. All right, so now we just start cutting those pieces out. And I'm gonna do the shirt and the pants first. And you wanna follow along the lines. You don't wanna go outside the line. You could be inside of it because the image you stamped here, you already do have the image on there. But I found it's just easiest to just cut right on the line when I do this. But thankfully the other image is already there. The part here, this arm comes slightly down under there, so I need to make sure I don't cut that off. Okay. And I'm cutting kind of far away from me, which is not my forte with cutting. I like to have it right up close because I feel like I have better control. But if I do that, you won't be able to see, so that's not helpful. Okay. Now we're going to go down and get rid of her hair. Some of it hangs over the shirt, so that's fine. If we leave that on there, that's good because that'll continue on. Okay. All right, there's the shirt. Now the key to this is once you get all these little pieces cut out, the key is to keep track of them and not lose them, especially when I get to this pillow because there's one tiny little piece. And the first time I made this, I actually lost that little piece, so I had to do it again. All right, now we'll cut out her crop pants. Look like crop pants to me. Okay, now we have to go a little bit around her arms here. Around the shirt. Sometimes it's easiest just to get rid of these big chunks. I'll go from another direction. I keep bringing this close to myself. I need an assistant here to slap me. Pat, you're out of the frame. Get back in. Okay. There, the hardest part down here. Oops. Didn't need to do that. All right. Get myself oriented. Wasn't sure where I was on the body anymore. Okay. So now we have our pants. And we have our top. And now I'm going to get these pieces out of the way so I don't get my little pillow piece lost in that pile of stuff. We'll do the easy pillow first, which is the large one. Okay. Oh. Almost cut off something I should have left there. I could have made two different color pillows, which could be kind of pretty too, right? Okay, there's the upper portion of that pillow. Just need to, I think when I cut across here, it's going to be an extra. Still there. Okay. These are the little pieces. Now I need this little bottom piece of the pillow down here under her legs. Well, the good thing is the pillow's the first part I'm going to put on. So if I can keep track of these pieces for about another 30 seconds, I should be safe. All right, so we have all our pieces. So let's use our silicone mat. And with this, I am not really a great green glue person, but with paper piercing, you really want to use green glue. It just works best. And don't put too much. So if you do what I did, I have a new bottle and I got too much. Sometimes you just kind of want to dab your finger on it and get the most of it off if you can. I'm going to use this little grabby tool thingy and lay that in there. And my hint is you want to start with pieces that are behind others. That way, if I didn't get this cut real well up here, the pants would cover it up. You wouldn't want the pillow overlapping the pants because that just isn't the way it would look. The legs are in front of the pillow, right? So I always like to put the first, the pieces that are behind, put those on first. Because that way, if something in the front needs to overlap it, it can. All right, now I'll add this pillow up here. Okay, and see how where you cut on the line really isn't that critical because you have the line already on the image, so that's helpful. Now the top is semi over the pants, hanging over the pants in the front, although here it's the pants are in the front, so it's probably 50-50 where you want to, which one of these you want to do first. It's not really very critical. I'm going to do the pants. And the good thing with green glue is you do have some wiggle room, so you can slide it into place as you need be. Okay. Isn't she coming together? Pretty, right? Well, I could have just colored that image, but I wouldn't have been able to color daisies in the pillows or this little octagon pattern in her pants or the polka dots. Probably the polka dots in the blouse you could, but my polka dots wouldn't look that nice. Okay. Now, if you feel like you should, you can always, or you need to, you can always come back and touch up an inch in like the edge there where her hair kind of overlaps the shirt, just to make it a little bit more natural, like it's hanging down over the shirt a little bit. So there you go. There is my paper pieced image. Can you see that? Isn't that cute? Cute. Now let me show you the card I made using that. Here is the card. She's looking out the window at a dark, starry night. Now, if I'd wanted to, I could have colored behind those panes of glass, but I thought this was a good background setting for her. So just a faux bow over here. This is from the, I think it's called Lights Aglow Designer Series paper. Did I write it down? Yeah, Lights Aglow DSP. Which is in the current mini catalog. It's beautiful paper, 6x6 pack. Might even be on the last chance clearance list. You have to check it out. That's in full swing now. The frame here was made with the guys called Fabulous Frames. And so I cut this and then I put it on over my glitter's coming off, my ribbon. I put it on over the basic white image, and I made it about 3 thicknesses thick. So that is that card. The inside, what did I do on the inside? Oh, I kept it very simple. Just put another strip of DSP across the bottom. Decorated my envelope flap, of course. No naked insides, no naked envelopes. And then my last card I made that I'll just show you, and I won't do the paper piecing, is a cute little baby card. This is made with the Elephant Parade stamp set, which I just got. It's been on my wish list for a while, so I wanted to play with it. But this little guy was inspired by Rudolph. I watched the Rudolph movie, or whatever it's called, animated movie, the old one. And you know, the Island of Misfit Toys, they have a little polka dotted elephant. So when I watched Rudolph last week, I'm like, oh, I can make a little polka dotted elephant. So it put me on the search for some paper that had polka dots. And this is the same designer series paper as I used to dress up the lady, Dandy Designs. So this is from that same pack of paper, gorgeous paper. You can see I used this background here. It's the same as the one for her pillow, right? Cool. So I hope you like those cards. That inside, also simple. I did make a baby card. I'm not sure what I'll do with it, but it seemed appropriate for the paper. Kind of reminded me of baby, something good for babies. So those are my 2 cards. I hope you like those. I hope you learned a little bit about paper piecing and have lots of ideas now about how you can do it. So let me go ahead and switch back my camera, and we will wrap it up. I hope you like that. I hope you learned something. I hope you give it a try. And it is kind of a gray day here today as I look outside. So I hope you're having a great sunny day wherever you are. And we will see you next week. And the plan is that Kathy will be back next week. So have a good one. Bye-bye.